Okay, I pulled up our own Doppler 12 Live and zoomed in on the storm that we are concerned with right now. It doesn't have the classic hook echo, and I'll tell you one reason why. These storms are moving so quickly, and there's so much wind shear and rain mixed in with them, you may not get the classic hook that you expect on tornado-warned storms. But we do see strong indication, like I showed you a moment ago, of a very intense core, which is now approaching the Red River. This thing is moving, folks. It's moving along at quite quick speeds here, up to 35 miles per hour, and that's allowing for the concern of this to be a tornadic storm. National Weather Service says that the Sherman storm, that's the one they're referring to here, that is just west of Sherman and approaching Pottsboro, has an impressive velocity couplet, and that is increasing. So the likelihood of a tornado increases with that. What is a velocity couplet? That's where the radar identifies the red and green areas moving next to each other. And when you see that on a radar, it often is an indication of either a tornado already on the ground or a potential tornado. And we can see how this is tightening up here just in the Pottsboro vicinity on up toward Lake Texoma. We are seeing this indication of, again, a dangerous storm. Let's do another track on this. We're not going anywhere, folks, on this. This is a serious event. We've been talking about this for days. Unfortunately, it is coming to pass. The tornado warning is for Bryan County only at this time. If I was in northern Grayson County as well, I would take cover Pottsboro up toward the river, west side of Denison. I would just go ahead and do that and not get picky about that, because you can see where the core is. Look at all the lightning in this storm between Sherman and Denison, moving up to the northeast, and again, a very impressive structure on the velocity scale, indicating the likelihood of at least a rotation in the clouds, if not on the ground. And we're pretty concerned about this. I'm going to ask the director to punch up our Sherman Tower Cam live. Tim, can you do that? Okay, I pointed to the northwest toward this storm, and you can see that we have a very impressive lightning coming across the region with this storm. So that is something that is associated with the major updraft in that storm. We'll back out here and take a look at that. Again, tornado warning right now for Bryan County, and we're going to be expecting this storm to become more severe. Still not seeing an indication from the National Weather Service in Sherman, Fort Worth, I should say, for Sherman and Denison, that there's a problem in Grayson County. But I think the Sherman Tower Cam offers a different opinion on that. You can see it right here. Very heavy rainfall. There's a rain shield associated with this storm. Let's go back to Max 1 and show you that again, comparing what you just saw on the tower cam to what we see live here on this radar, up close and personal. And I'm going to slow this down. It might be kind of hard to see at full speed. You see that dark red there. In fact, let me turn the lightning off. This storm also contains a tremendous amount of lightning. If we turn that off and track that core, it is passing over Pottsboro now, approaching the west side of Denison, and that is moving right into Bryan County, just like that, okay? So that is what we're talking about, folks, the tornado warning. Now, I will turn the lightning back on. We'll resume the looping here, and again, encouraging everybody downstream from this storm. I say downstream, I'm talking about the extreme northern Grayson and Bryan counties, to be in a place of safety, and we're tracking that core right toward Durant, Choctaw Casino, Calera, Colbert, and so forth. Now, here's the deal, folks. Even without a tornado actually on the ground, and we haven't had any confirmation of that, even without that, this is a dangerous storm that may produce winds of 70 or 80 miles per hour. So nothing to sneeze at, okay? This is an intense storm. We've unfortunately talked about these all week, and the wind shear is very high today. It's about 350, which on the scale of wind shear would be moderate to high levels and easily promoting these rotating storms that can produce tornadoes. Meteorologist Brian Briggs, tell us about some of the other activity in Texoma, what's brewing out there, and how long this tornado watch goes for, sir.
Okay, yes, so we're just we're still looking at this storm here real quickly. We're trying to work out some audio, trying to get connected to Chief Meteorologist Steve Lenore here. But again, if you're just joining us here, we're still keeping an eye on this one storm in particular here, forming along the dry line. You can see that one active tornado warning is in progress with this storm system here. So again, at least right now, I'm trying to see if I can check in with the National Weather Service to see if there's anything confirmed But they are definitely saying that this storm has a pretty impressive couplet with it, and it is going to be tracking north here into the Bryan County area, southern Bryan County. So that's the thing. We're going to continue to keep an eye on this. We're also live streaming on Facebook and our app as well. So if you lose your TV, there are other ways to live stream the storm. Rain really starting to come down now on our rooftop here. But all in all, again, we are just dealing with this severe storm. So again, we're going to keep in contact. We're going to be kind of bouncing back and forth. If you're anywhere from Culver to Durant to Atchlee and in southern portions of Bryan County traveling along Highway 69, you need to be in your safe place. I'd say even if you're Denison too, just to be on the safe side, you need to be in your tornado safe place now. Lots of heavy rainfall, lots of lightning coming down, possibly some hail with this storm. So we're going to continue to monitor this. Again, this is just the beginning of our threat for severe weather as we go forward here.
Okay, this is Doppler 12 Live. Thank you, Brian. And this indicates where the most intense activity is. We just got a report from the public, North Texas Regional Airport, Perrin Field, which of course is located here west of Knollwood. 1 inch hail verified there. Now, that is often typically associated with the updraft near the tornado. So, as we said, it would be generally in the vicinity between Pottsboro and Denison is tracking northeast at 35 miles per hour, and that corresponds with what you're seeing here. Look at all the lightning in this thing. We're going to do a hail scan, see if we can pick up on that hail that was reported there by the public. And the hail does not look extreme at this point in time. There was a report of quarter-size hail. Here we're getting slightly lower values, but the hail is not the big concern, folks. It is the possibility of a tornado in this storm. And zooming out a little bit, we'll put it in motion. You can see this couplet, that's the red and the green, tracking northeast right across the Pottsboro, Denison region, and on up into Bryan County. Now, right now, Bryan County has the tornado warning because the storm is tracking in that direction. I want to emphasize that this is a dangerous storm that may produce a tornado. Tornado has not been reported at this time, but the storm has been ramping up. It has been producing hail, has been producing an extreme amount of lightning, which is another indication of an intensifying storm, and it is tracking, as you can see, directly into parts of Bryan County. Here are the watches and warnings for the whole area, and you can see right now we have 2 warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning for Grayson County, primarily the northern half, and we have a tornado warning now in effect for portions of Bryan County, and I want to do a track on that for you. Folks that are downstream, this storm is moving northeast 35 miles per hour. Here's the latest track on it, best estimates based on that forward speed and motion. So what will happen as this storm approaches? You'll see low clouds, heavy rain. You'll see a lot of lightning. You may get some gusty or even damaging winds. If there's a tornado in there, and I want to emphasize this, folks, this is very important. If there's a tornado in this storm, you're not going to be able to see it. It's going to be rain wrapped. Please, under no circumstances do you run outside and try to spot the tornado. Leave that up to professionals and just stay in your place of safety until this dangerous storm passes. That is the worst thing to do, especially when the rain-wrapped tornadoes like these definitely are, make the tornado almost impossible to see anyway as it is moving up into the northeast. So there we go. Tornado warning storm currently in effect for Bryan County. Here we are again on our own Doppler 12 Live, and kind of a messy storm, but we know the worst of it is right in here based on the public reports of hail and also the tremendous amount of lightning. So if you are watching from southern Bryan County, this storm will cross the river probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and we do have a train spotter now at 503, Spur 503 and Texas Parkway, okay? That's just down the street from our station, and they are reporting a slowly rotating storm edge, not a rapidly rotating wall cloud yet, but that is definitely a precursor to that. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit on Doppler 12 and kind of get that area. It's going to be right in here. Okay, there's Highway 75, here's Spur 503, indicated on the map there. We don't see anything that would make us believe there's a tornado there. The more likely spot for the tornado, folks, is going to be back on the left side of your screen here, between Denison and Pottsboro. But these kinds of storms can contain what we call spin-up tornadoes. There might be one on the leading edge, another one back in the main core. The most likely spot, though, for a large tornado or a main tornado in this storm would be right here. We're looking at, again, west of Denison and southwest of Colbert. Let me scroll this back and forth. You see it's taking a very clear path. In fact, if I show you where North Texas Regional Airport is, which as you know is right here on Highway 289, that is where the core went across and exactly where that 1-inch hail was reported. And you can see the timestamp here, 1:15, the hail was reported at 1:17. So that's it. That's the most dangerous part of the storm. So if you're watching from Colbert, this is headed directly toward you, 35 miles an hour. So you don't have a lot of time here to get into a place of safety in Colbert or Calera. So basically it's crossing the Red River probably in the next 5 minutes. Meteorologist Brian Briggs, going to check in with you real quick.
Listen, I'm still looking at my front porch. Oh, all right. Looks like I'm up. All right. So, yeah, we are still keeping an eye on this storm. And let's see. So, yeah, we are still tracking this storm system here. And I'm looking at some of the comments on Facebook, and people are talking about lots of heavy rainfall and some treacherous weather anywhere from Denison to Colbert right now. So this storm continues to push north and east, and it is eventually going to be making it into the Red River, or north of the Red River here pretty soon. And that's where the areas of rotation have been spotted, at least by spotters. So let me just check in with the Weather Service real quick. And then let's see here. I just want to see if they have, let's see. So we got hail the size of 1 inch in parts of Knollwood. So there is hail coming out of the storm. And look at that Sherman Tower cam. It is coming down out there. So the rotation appears to be weakening into Denison, but circulation of concern is heading into Calera, moving to Durant. So Durant, you've been in this tornado warning for a while. Definitely get into your tornado safe place here in a little bit. So again, if you're just joining us right now, we are watching this storm cross north of the Red River. It's heading now into mostly Bryan County, out of Denison-Sherman area. So this warning is in effect until 2 p.m. and dangerous. It would be a rain-wrapped tornado should it form. However, they are saying that rotation is weakening. So we're going to continue to watch this real quickly. And if you lose power, if you lose TV signal, we're also streaming online on Facebook on our app as well. So hop over there if you lose TV, and we're just going to keep watching this as it moves through.
Okay, here we are live at Doppler 12, and I wanted to highlight the most likely spot for a tornado, and this is on our own radar here live. You can see that we do have a couple of indicated, actually a couple of them with the red-green indicated here and kind of extending on up towards Colbert. So we don't really have one centrally defined couplet, which you often get, but this doesn't mean we don't have something in there. Definitely have a rotation indicated here between Pottsboro and the Red River. Okay, this is also corresponding to what Brian just told you a minute ago, that we're having reports of hail now up to quarter size. That was north of Knollwood. So if we go 3 miles north of Knollwood, right about here, then you can see that's associated with this rotating updraft. Makes sense because the rotating updraft is what helps to produce the environments favorable for tornadoes. So again, heads up, extreme northern Grayson County. This is probably going to go west of Denison. I can't guarantee that. I would say anywhere from, let's say, Morton and 75 on south toward the Trinity Church and north of the river. Everything west of that, definitely in a danger zone. Even though, again, technically Grayson County is not under a tornado warning right now. We do have the tornado warning effect for our friends in Bryan County. Now, the National Weather Service does say there's a second circulation, which I'm pointing to right here, that they're concerned about near Colbert. You can see that red and green on that one, and they say that is also a possible tornado spot. And you can see here, as we put this in motion on Max Radar, that the most dangerous core has definitely crossed the river now and is near Colbert. The secondary core I mentioned a moment ago over Grayson County has weakened considerably, although it did produce hail a few minutes ago in this area right here. The storm is tracking pretty quickly off to the northeast, about 35 miles per hour, and that's why the tornado warning will not be issued for Grayson County. That most dangerous part of the storm has definitely left Grayson County now. Still some hail in there, folks. I'm not dismissing the Grayson County storm, but the tornado potential has now moved into Bryan County. Here are some ETAs for the tornado warned storm in Bryan County. I'll read you the National Weather Service statement on this. National Weather Service says the tornado warning continues till 2 o'clock for Bryan County. Okay, that's our area of concern right now. At 1:25 p.m. just moments ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located very close to Colbert, moving northeast. They're saying now at 40 miles per hour. May contain a tornado and quarter-size hail. This is headed right toward, basically right up Highway 75, okay? So heads up in Calera, Choctaw Casino area, Colbert was where the storm is now, and that is tracking northeast. Big picture here. I want to show you some of the other storms that are in Texoma. We're watching out for you too. It's just that right now the big concern is the tornado warned storm. But if you're watching from a little farther north, you can see here in western Atoka County, on back into eastern Johnston, very strong thunderstorm, not yet warned for a severe thunderstorm. But I would tell you right now that this tornado warned storm is tracking your way, and if it holds together, we'll be into Atoka County in about 30 minutes. So heads up on that. We do have more storms developing back to the west. At this time, though, the main concern obviously is a tornado warned storm. There will be more storms coming in a couple of hours along a cold front right here. So folks in Ardmore and Gainesville and Sulphur, you're not out of the woods, and right now you are. You're kind of waiting for your storms to show up, and they will be coming as the front does advance to the southeast. We got a lot of cold air coming in behind this front, and that will make for another round of thunderstorms. But again, our primary concern is the tornado warned storm. I'm going to shift Doppler 12 a little bit and recenter on the most dangerous part of the storm, which is near Colbert right now. And stand by a sec, we'll do that. And you can see the couplet there, the red-green couplet, very plainly illustrated there right over Colbert. There's no question we have a rotating area here. The red-green, what we call the couplet, the two covers meeting together, always indicates rotation. The question is it sufficient to produce a tornado? And to emphasize again, this is a potential tornado, but also to emphasize, folks, that even without a tornado, we've got conditions for damaging wind. There is a little bit of good news starting to show up. We can see there's some suggestion that core is weakening. If you'll watch with me, that darkest red, I'll turn the lightning off so you can see it a little better. You can see how that red is starting to diminish a little bit. This does not mean the danger is completely gone. These storms can do what we call cycling, where they'll strengthen and then weaken, and then strengthen and then weaken. So what we have is still a very dangerous storm. I want you to notice how much lightning is in this storm. This thing is putting out a tremendous amount of lightning in the past 10 minutes. This is a 10-minute lightning count. 234 lightning strikes in just that cell in the last 10 minutes. So that's about one lightning strike every 2.5 seconds. Pretty active electrical storm. That's another big danger with thunderstorms. And again, folks, I would like to reiterate, there's some repetition here because this is dangerous, okay? Please do not go outside and look for the tornado. Try to spot that. Unless you are a trained spotter, know what you're doing, and even then you got to be careful because these are going to be most likely rain-wrapped tornadoes this afternoon. As you know, the air is incredibly moist for November. That's allowing for very high precip rates. There also will be some flash flooding with some of these thunderstorms. But if there's a tornado in there, it is very likely invisible until you're too close to it to be in good shape there. So do not do that. Stay in a place of safety when a tornado warning is issued. Wait till the storm passes. We'll tell you what happened on News 12, okay? That's the safe way to be. Good news is we definitely see some potential weakening in the storm. Grayson County, I want to let you know that the southern part of that severe thunderstorm warning has been discontinued, and the tornado threat now really has shifted into Bryan County. And again, there never was actually a tornado warning in effect for Grayson County. Our own Doppler 12 scanning faithfully and showing that we still have the most dangerous part of the storm very clearly indicated here, right over Colbert. You're in Colbert, Durant, Calera, west to Meade and north to Silo, I would be in a place of safety. Meteorologist Brian Briggs standing by with additional information on the storms that are popping up.
Alrighty, so just bear with me real quickly. I'm going to zoom back in, and if you are just joining us, it's just after 1:30, and we have been tracking this one area of, let's see, so yeah, my apologies, y'all. So we are tracking this one storm, particularly coming into Bryan County. This one has the tornado warning on it. And to kind of give you an idea of how fast the storm is moving, it is almost outrunning the tornado warning box. So we'll see if the National Weather Service is going to be issuing a new warning downstream ahead into northern parts of Bryan County, possibly even Atoka County. That's where it's going to be ending up anyway. The storm probably moving 40 to 50 miles an hour. Let me see if I can get a storm track on it real quickly. But yes, it is moving out of Grayson County, and it is going to be now impacting primarily southern Bryan County into parts of Atoka County. So let me see if I get the right speed on this. Yeah, about 50 miles an hour, so that sounds about right. And here's some approximate times. Whoops. All right, let me redraw this real quickly. But if you are in southern Oklahoma in Bryan County, traveling along Highway 69, it is going to be pretty treacherous moving through. Let's draw a new... All right, so we're going to... There's some of the timing on there. Again, if you're anywhere in those towns listed, and you need to be in your tornado-safe place immediately. So, again, we're keeping an eye on more storms also, too, to the south. Southern Grayson County, and we're going to continue to watch this. If you have lost TV signal, we are on air. I'm on streaming here, Facebook, and through our app. So you have multiple ways of receiving these warnings. We're going to keep you updated, but I'm going to throw it back to Steve real quick.
All right, Brian, thanks a lot. Great to have you along. This is a lot going on here, and we are doing, he's doing a bang-up job helping us out here. So, according to the National Weather Service and the Emergency Management out of Bryan County, there's information coming in that suggests, if not a tornado on the ground, if not, we've got some damaging wind going on in the Calera area, report of some power outages and debris on Platter Road just south of Calera. That's, again, associated with this strong rotation we're seeing indicated here on Doppler 12. Now, this storm is obviously moving. It's moving northeast about 35 miles per hour. Folks in Durant and the Choctaw Casino area need to be in a place of safety at this time because, folks, even without a tornado, we've got a storm that is producing confirmed wind damage now in this area. There's another rotation they're concerned about. According to the National Weather Service, you can see it right here. This might be a system where we're getting a couple of little spin-ups, so let me mark them for you. There's one right here just west of Ashley. We've got another system now that is rotating in the Calera vicinity, and they're both tracking northeast like so, about 35 miles per hour. So it could be that we have two systems that are really causing problems. And putting it in motion here on Max Radar, you can see, folks, the intense cores on these systems moving to the northeast. We shorten this loop for you to about 30 minutes. And you can see it, folks. There's no question we've got some. In fact, remember I told you if you've been watching our coverage for a while, and if you're just joining us, a tornado warning is in effect for Bryan County until 2 o'clock. That does include the central part of the county, Durant, Colbert, down to the river, east to Ashley. And we're tracking this thunderstorm that produced 1-inch hail in Grayson County. It temporarily weakened and now is re-strengthened here in the Colbert vicinity. Looks like the most dangerous part of the storm is very close to Choctaw Casino at this time and the northern part of the city of Calera. We're going to do a velocity scan on this for you. And oh my, look at that. You can see it, folks. There is not much question there's something going on there. Look at this velocity couplet. We're getting a gate-to-gate shear, which is the total rotation of the storm, 89 miles per hour. We just showed you that on our own Doppler. Very good match there with the Max Radar here. And there's an 86 mile per hour one there. I believe there might be some even higher than that. There's one at 89 miles per hour. So there is confirmed rotation, probably if not a tornado on the ground, damaging winds underneath a tornadic circulation that is in this area. You can see how it's been moving to the northeast, and it's doing so at about 35 miles per hour. We're going to scan out a little bit more. So again, folks in and Colbert and Durant need to be in their place of safety. And in fact, I got to tell you, as we zoom out a little more, east of town, east of Durant, it may actually affect you as far east as Blue, somewhere in this area. There's that core of that storm. There is no question the way it's moving. We're going to do a little storm scan on it for you, and you can see it moving right up toward Durant. May affect Ashley, of course, it's close to you there. Allison, Roberta, on into the city of Durant itself. It's going to be going right up 69-75 the way it looks right now. They're going to be issuing a new tornado warning for northern Bryan County. There are these two circulations that we have talked about. We're going to go back over to our own Doppler 12 and kind of zero in on these. It's a little bit of a messy storm, folks, but the bottom line, it's very dangerous. Okay, that's the bottom line here on these two tornadic rotations that are taking shape right now in Bryan County. And a new warning is coming out for northern Bryan County shortly, but the bottom line is you're still under a warning. You can see the unquestionable markets of these rotations here, and one is located near Durant, the other one's located here down near Ashley. They're both moving in tandem, if you will, northeast at 35 miles per hour. On the Texas side, quickly, we don't have any tornado warnings for you on the Texas side. I'll switch over to that quickly so you can see. We are watching you elsewhere in Texoma, too. I want you to know. But there are some strong thunderstorms, though, that may become severe. So listen up, southern Grayson County. We are seeing this activity south of Sherman pick up strength at this time. There's no indication of a tornado, but Sherman, very heavy rain, lightning coming in, maybe some winds to 40 or 50 miles per hour, and small hail. We see that to the south. To the north, not much. So we really have this dominant storm we're focusing on, and that is going to be in Bryan County. The tornado warning goes like this. It's until 2 o'clock. We're waiting for a new warning to come out, but right now the existing warning does cover Durant, Ashley, Calera, Colbert, the places that are currently threatened that we just talked about on our own Doppler 12, which you can see right here. Anytime you see these couplets of red and green in proximity to each other, that indicates strong rotation, which may suggest a tornado, or at the very least, there's some strong velocity in there. Something is trying to develop in there. National Weather Service says one of the circulations, which we can see very clearly, is located 2 miles south-southwest of Durant. That's right over the Choctaw Casino area. Folks are there and watching your TV in your room. Just go into the bathroom, wait till this thing passes, okay? Because it's got some wind in it, and even without a tornado, it could cause some problems there. We definitely want you to be safe on that. Here are the watches and warnings currently. We have a new tornado warning just issued in the last 30 seconds. Does cover now the northern part of Bryan County right here. You can see that. That goes till 2:30 p.m. Tornado warning for northern Bryan County. Let me read you this warning. It came out at 1:40 p.m. just seconds ago. The National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for Bryan County and a little sliver of southern Atoka County. You get this box out of the way, you can see that it also includes a little sliver of southern Atoka County right here to the south of Tushka. At 1:39 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, again not confirmed, but very dangerous, rotating storm, was located near Durant, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. Another possible tornado, okay, is located near Ashley. So we have two potential tornadic storms, and the warning has been extended downstream, basically. This storm moving northeast 35 miles per hour. So we now have a tornado warning in effect for northern Bryan County and southern Atoka County. That's the one I've just highlighted. That one goes until 2:30. It's for the same storm we've been tracking since the first warning came out about 45 minutes ago. But there's a second piece of energy we're concerned about in this storm that is located over Ashley, and that's this couplet you see right here. I'm going to zoom in a little more on that so you can actually see the towns. And please stand by, folks. Just be a second. Okay, there you can see Ashley, and you can see there's a couplet right in that area. A very well-defined red-green couplet. We've got this concern area right here. And again, the red and the green indicate air currents that are moving in two different directions. That's what that's for. So when you see that, you know there's a rotational core, and whether or not the tornado is on the ground sometimes is a different question, but you definitely know there's a tornadic core there that may produce damaging wind or a tornado. Here we can see the two cores on a different perspective here on MAX radar. They're both now located along or just to the east of Highway 75. It looks like they have weakened a little bit, but now we saw this before. They kind of fell apart and they sort of re-strengthened. So we're going to encourage folks in the Durant area especially, I think the storm is starting to move north of Ashley now. But in the Durant area, you are in the most dangerous part of this storm. Let's take a look at some downstream ETAs. I haven't done that in a while. I want you all to know where it's going and where you're at related to it. We'll start with the Durant Core and track it right up Highway 6975. So Armstrong, that's right on top of you now. Caddo 156, Tushka 221, Atoka 230, and we'll be getting up into the northern part of Atoka County near Daisy and Redden by 3 o'clock. Now, I think the storm will hold together the whole time. Whether it produces a tornado during that period of time, that is going to be a different question. Meteorologist Brian Briggs is here with me, and I'm going to throw to him for a sec, see what new we have from his world.
Alrighty, so thanks, Steve. Let's see, 1 second. So we're checking in with the National Weather Service here, and we're just seeing if there's any updates to pass along. At least right now, it is fairly quiet, but still, there is strong rotation with this storm occurring, and that's mainly south of Durant, near the Atchlee area, and yeah, just a lot of heavy rain. People are reporting lots of power outages too at this time, so it's a mess, especially in southern Oklahoma. So just keeping an eye on things. At least right now, nothing major to pass along, but we are keeping a very close eye on things. Again, the strongest area of rotation seems to be south of Durant and north of Atchlee, so near Allison, Calera. If you're traveling on Highway 70 East, 78, or even just the major thoroughfare of 70, it's going to be a very bumpy ride. It's going to be heading up into Blue, Bachito. I think Caddo will be pretty good for now, but we're going to watch this as it continues to travel. Let me clear this out. Get the traditional reflectivity back up here, but you can see that the heavy storm moving out of Grayson County right now. Taking a wider look, we have another storm coming into Grayson County, not severe right now, but we have to keep an eye. We have more supercells developing to the south of us in Dallas-Fort Worth. Could be impacting us over the next couple hours, but at least right now the main focus is going to be Bryan into Atoka counties with those 2 tornado warnings. So again, let's click in here real quickly. The most up-to-date tornado warning is in effect until 2:30. There has been evidence of strong rotation with this system at times, and viewers have been saying that they've been dealing with anything from power flashes to strong winds to hail reports as well. So southern Bryan County is a mess, and you need to get in your tornado safe place. We have plenty of ingredients today to not mess around with. So we definitely need to get into our tornado safe place. This thing is moving at about 50 miles an hour. So let's see. Tornado watch, let's click that real quickly. You can see that all of the areas under a tornado watch until about 8 p.m. tonight. And these storms are going to continue to develop and push east. So our eastern counties are still under the gun for the next several hours. We're just getting started here, folks. So dryline storms certainly mean business today. And we should be in the clear still about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. So we're still watching that. But let's get back to our classic radar here. You can see more storms moving out of Grayson County into southern Bryan County. There appears to be some weakening, but we're still watching some rotation with the storm. So we're going to keep you updated. Again, if you lose Chief Meteorologist on the TV there, we are streaming on Facebook and our app. So you have multiple ways to receive us should you need to. So we're going to continue to watch this, and I'm going to toss it back to Steve.
All right, thanks a lot, Brian. Good to have you along. A lot of information to process here. And for you consumers of the information, I hope you know that a great way to get information is on your Weather Authority app. Okay, you can look at the radar, you can look at the warnings. Of course, you can follow along with us as well on your News 12 app. But this is a situation where it's great to have that up-to-the-minute information. You might be in a shelter right now and being able to get the information on your phone as it happens. Okay, and you can see as we zoom in here, we do have the dual tornado warnings, if you will, in Bryan County. We have the one for the southern part of the county, which expires at 2 o'clock here in about 13 minutes, and that's the warning that was issued when the storm came out of Grayson County, dumped some quarter-size hail near the airport, the North Texas Regional Airport, and then it tracked over the Red River into Bryan County, and now the most intense portion of the storm. You can kind of use the lightning as a bit of a detective work to figure out where the worst of these storms are, and unquestionably the worst of the storm is located near Durant right here. So we'd like to go inside and investigate that with the velocity scope. And we still do see some rotation there. It looks like it has weakened, and according to the National Weather Service, the values, the amounts, the numbers for that have come down some. So that doesn't mean it's all clear, but it does show a trend that's hopeful that the storm has started to weaken, and barring it re-strengthening, which is possible, these things have a tremendous amount of wind shear to deal with. This is not a typical environment we're in today. We're in a very high wind shear environment, and you're seeing how the storm, if you see right there, and I've backed this up to, notice the timestamp in the upper right, to 1:35 p.m. We had a very strong couplet. You might recall, if you've been watching our coverage, and if you're just joining us, we're covering tornado warnings for Bryan County till 2 o'clock around Durant, till 2:30 up into southern Atoka County. But at 1:35, which is about 13 minutes ago, we had a very strong velocity couplet indicated just south of Colbert. As it's begun to track northeast, has weakened somewhat, but there still may be some rotation in there, enough to cause concern. So that's the tornado warning there. Now we have tornado warning number 2, goes into southern Bryan County, southern Atoka County, and covers northern Bryan County until 2:30. And the National Weather Service says, once again, strong rotation, not at the ground as far as we know, but capable of producing not only a tornado, but I want to share a report we got a little while ago with you from southern Oklahoma. They had reports of power flashes on Highway 6975, okay, and that was in the Calera region. There was debris also indicated. Now, we don't know how much debris. Was it tree limbs? Was it something more? That's the kind of stuff we'll know a little bit later in the afternoon. But this is telling you it's a very dangerous storm, even if there's not a tornado in it. Here's our own Doppler 12 live scanning that same storm. And we are seeing a little bit less of the couplet, just like I showed you on max radar. Not quite as pronounced. But what's the most dangerous part of the storm now is going to be just north of Durant, kind of extending back around toward Blue. It's sort of a stretched out looking storm with 2 cells in it. And they're tracking northward. So that's why Armstrong up toward Caddo, north into southern Atoka County around Tushka. You're going to be in the most dangerous area. Also over toward Bentley here, this might affect you as well. We have not had at any point during this coverage confirmation of a tornado. But let me tell you something about this kind of stuff. It can be a little misleading. So here's some basic tornado safety. Now, you may know this already, but it's good to have a refresher. You want to be in a small room, preferably a bathroom or a closet, away from windows, in the middle of your house. A fixed structure, so a home with a permanent foundation. If you're in a mobile home and a tornado warning is issued for your area, and you know the storm's getting close, you need to evacuate that structure. And in fact, if you have time, you can drive away at right angles to the tornado, and that's often the best chance. But really, if you're in a mobile home and there's a nearby permanent structure, go there. Really driving away should be considered not nearly as good of a choice, but better than nothing if it comes to that. Now, the threat will end by 8 o'clock with this entire situation, and we think that one reason for that is a strong cold front that's coming through. Temperatures are going to drop a lot tonight. As that front comes in, these very humid 70s will look off to the upper left of your screen. It drops off very quickly into the 50s and 40s. Once that front comes through, any chance of tornadoes ends, but there could still be some strong thunderstorms for a few hours behind that. Big picture, this whole threat for tornadoes is going to last between now and about 6 o'clock, shifting eastward with time. Now, I do want to show you that we're certainly not anywhere out of the woods on this. Look down to the south here toward the Metroplex. There's a whole new complex of storms coming in to the west of Dallas, coming right over the DFW airport now. And guess what? That's going to track right up into Grayson and Cook counties, and this storm may become tornadic. What's happening is as these storms are getting farther north into our region, the environment is more favorable for tornadoes to form. The winds are starting to back like this in the upper levels, so when that happens, it creates more rotation. So we're more and more concerned as these storms track north. If you're watching from Collin, Cook, Grayson County, you're getting a break right now, but more storms that are potentially tornadic could come back into the picture here in a little bit. Here on Doppler 12, live from our own Doppler here in Texoma, we're seeing less indication now of that tornadic possibility. We will have 2 warnings to deal with. Warning number 1 does expire at 8 minutes. That's the one that covers southern Bryan County. Let me highlight that for you. That is right here. That will expire in 8 minutes, and that makes sense because this storm is moving out of the warning polygon. So that doesn't mean the storm is gone. It doesn't mean that it's fallen apart. It means it's moving out of the warning area and translating northward into this area here. These are moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Now, I haven't done an ETA track in a while to give you the timings on those, so I'd like to do that for you now. I'm going to track the core of this storm. This is the most dangerous part. Look at all the lightning here around Durant. In fact, in the last 10 minutes, we can see we've had about 174 lightning strikes. Pretty convincing that's a severe storm. It's tracking northeast at 35 miles an hour. I will start the track right to the east of Durant and bring it up like so. It appears to be moving a little bit east of Highway 6975. It's going to be close, but the core may track something just about like that. So Bochita, you're also in the area of danger on this violent thunderstorm. We don't have a confirmed tornado in it, but we do have several circulations. And in fact, the National Weather Service is just now mentioning this one in Bochita I just talked about. We're getting another circulation. There are several of these embedded within this one thunderstorm that are located in that region. And again, that's a region of concern for Texoma right now. Watches and warnings, the entire area is under a tornado watch. That's the yellow shading. Everybody watching in the News 12 area is under that till 8 o'clock tonight. Tornado warning, southern Bryan County will expire shortly. The tornado warning for northern Bryan, southern Atoka County goes until 2:30. We still have a couple of spots we're concerned about, folks. The number one spot, which actually seems like it's strengthened a little bit in the last few minutes, is right here. Let me zoom in for you on our Doppler 12 Live on this particular couplet. And you can see it is located, like we just said a moment ago, okay, southwest of Bochita. I'm going to mark this most likely spot for a tornado. I want to emphasize we don't have a report of a tornado in there at this time. In fact, along this coverage we have done, and I appreciate you sticking with us because this is some serious, dangerous weather. Throughout this coverage, we have had no reports of tornadoes touching down. But we have had at least 2 reports of winds causing issues at the ground level south of Durant in the Calera and Colbert vicinity. Earlier, we also had reports of considerable hail in these storms up to quarter size. So they're nothing to sneeze at. And they're definitely producing a ton of lightning. I would not be surprised to hear about some power failures out of these. We're doing 10 to 15, 20 lightning strikes per minute on these storms. That's another good indication of how intense the updraft is when you get that kind of lightning. And on top of all that, we're getting just a very brief break, another very intense band of storms. These might even be stronger than what's already over us. They're really showing tremendous amount of lightning in these. You can see we have over 280 strikes in the last 10 minutes. So that's one strike every 2 seconds. Really booming out the lightning there, and that's really nature's way of saying, hey, I'm a violent storm. I have a tremendous amount of charge separation, which is associated with big updrafts, big downdrafts in the storm. Stand by a second, folks. I do want to give you a quick look at this. What are the threat types in these storms? Well, we've been talking about the tornado warning, and that certainly is a significant threat. But the number one threat in all these storms today will be very high winds. Now, we're talking hurricane force winds, 80 miles per hour or so. So even without a tornado, an 80-mile-per-hour wind can blow down a tree, can take the roof off a home, can flip a mobile home, can blow you off the highway, along with some possibly tennis ball size hail. And I do want you to note that the tornado threat is moderate today. And in fact, look at the map I have here with you quickly, and then we're going to go back to Bryan in a sec. You can see that we have a moderate risk. Pretty rare to get one of those, only about one a year in Texoma. Notice how the risk levels drop to the west. So Ada Ardmore, you're in a slight risk. Right now in the storms we're covering in Bryan County, you're in an enhanced risk. Now don't forget the storms down by Dallas coming right back up into Texoma here in the next hour. But our easternmost counties where the moisture is best, that's where we have the highest risk right now, and that is the moderate risk. So these tornadic storms we're watching now are only likely to get worse as they shift east here the next couple of hours. Brian, got anything new for us, buddy?
East. All right, so sounds like we're kind of joining back in here, and we've been keeping an eye on velocity. A lot of people are reporting power out in Calera. There's been reports that Choctaw Casino's been out of power and several wrecks on the highways out there. So, folks, It's getting really nasty in southern Oklahoma right now, especially across parts of Bryan County. Area of concern that we've been looking right now is between Durant and Bochito. Highway 22, going to be dealing with at least some damaging straight line winds, if not a possible tornado. Again, we haven't confirmed anything, and we've been checking in with the National Weather Service here, but they at least have been keeping an eye on that area of rotation. Again, the storm has been notorious for producing strong enough rotation to warrant that tornado warning, and we're going to continue to watch it here. But also want to point out here, kind of on a larger view, if I can pull that up, there we go. We're not done yet, folks, at all. Notice this storm between Dallas-Fort Worth. That is going to be moving into Texoma and is going to be a problem here within the next hour or so, especially for our eastern counties, places like Collin, Hunt County, Fannin, Lamar counties possibly, Bryan County into Choctaw County, parts of Atoka and Pushmataha. So we're just getting started here. At least the area of concern still remains Bryan County up into Atoka County right now. So again, as the ingredients start to come together, we're going to have to watch several areas of storms here. But at least the good news is we are watching the strong areas of rotation, at least no confirmed tornadoes yet. But again, folks are saying that, at least through Facebook and everything, they're saying that they're losing power. It's treacherous out on those roadways. Semis are being knocked over. And yeah, it just power's going out. So these are the real deal, folks. And definitely, if you lose the TV, get on those live streams. Definitely have multiple ways of receiving alerts as these storms continue to pass through. And we're going to be here, continue to watching. So we're coming up at about 2 o'clock now. Tornado watch remains in effect through about 8 o'clock. Let me just show that here real quickly. That still covers all of Texoma, even though it's been quiet along the I-35 corridor. Cannot rule out some severe weather in the next several hours as well. So again, we were kind of telling you about 1 to 9 p.m. That's when you need to be weather aware. So we're just getting started, and we're going to give you multiple ways to view this as we go through the afternoon. So going to be passing this back to Steve here. And again, if you need to continue coverage, we're on Facebook and we're on our app live streaming. So feel free to jump on there. But back to you, Steve.
Thanks, Brian. Great information there coming in from social media. And don't forget, folks, that is a great way to share things with us, or you can call our hotline, 903-892-NEWS, 903-892-NEWS. That's a great way also to report information. Now, I want to go back to our Doppler 12 because we are showing some concern here. I am concerned about this. Throughout the afternoon, we've shown you the green and red couplets. The red has been kind of dark, which indicates moderate velocity. Now we're seeing a ramping up, an increasing, if you will, of the rotation in this storm just southwest of Bochita, between Blue and Bochita, and maybe about a mile south of there. So this is a higher level of velocity than we've seen in a while, and would increase the chance that this might be what we call wrapping up into a spot for a tornado. Now, we've had several of these most likely spot for a tornado boxes on the screen, and thankfully, up to this point, we hadn't actually had one reported. But this time, with the velocity being higher, that indicates a greater danger that there could actually be one developing in here. And like we've been saying for the last hour, if you are in the path of the storm, Blue, Bochita, perhaps even Bennington, and then north of Highway 70 into the northern parts of Bryan County, you got to be in a safe place right now. This storm could be developing right on top of you. And again, I'm going to preach a little here. Please don't go outside and look for the storm. It's going to most likely be rain wrapped, and even if it's not, we've already reported to you several times there's been debris in these things, and the flying debris can cause serious injury even without a tornado. Here is the storm we are watching. Now, the storm in southern Bryan County, northern Bryan County, pardon me, has moved into Atoka County. It's not quite as intense. We are focused on the Bochita storm. I will call this the Bochita storm for our biggest concern for a possible tornado. This is a big storm. Let's do a hail scope on it. There's not a huge amount of hail in the storm. That is not our concern. But I want you to look how tall this storm is. 51,000 feet. That is the rotating updraft in the storm, and look where it's located. It's right over Bochita, Oklahoma, east of Durant, west of Boswell there, and that is where we have the max danger, okay, with this storm. Looking at the velocities inside of it, we can see there's a pretty well-defined couplet. That's the difference between the red and the green right in here. The velocity amounts are coming and going. I do think that our own Doppler is doing a little better job of showing that, so back to that. You can see this higher reflectivity red here looks like whatever we have there is right over Highway 70 now, somewhere between Blue and Bochita. That's where the danger is max. You can see the inflow notch here on this storm, and you can see the backside, the rotation around that. So this is an area of great concern for us folks, and I hope if you're in this area, you're taking cover anywhere in northern Bryan County. Let me zoom out a little bit here. And you can see that very enhanced area of reflectivity there. That's the worst we've seen today. And again, that's this arc of brighter red coming in right here. Tornado warning storm for this area continues. Okay, we've got a fresh update here just coming in from Bryan County Emergency Management. Okay, this came in with a report of mobile homes damaged around Platter and Calera. That would be associated with the tornado warning storm we've been covering. Now, that happened about 15 minutes ago. There's no longer a storm in that area that seems to be capable of producing that kind of damage. But if I stop this and back up, I want you to watch with me. You can see that went right over that area here between Denison and Colbert. Platter, Calera, right in here. Apparently there's been some damage from these storms coming across and moving northeast. So here's... Okay, my news director, Matt Griffin, giving me some more information about some of this damage. Semi flipped on Highway 75 in the Calera vicinity, mobile homes damaged there. We had reports of Hagerman oil tank fire. That would be on the Gracie County side of things. We're getting lots of reports, folks, of damage in the Calera, Colbert vicinity. I would stay off Highway 75. Don't even go into that area. Please don't go in there and try to sightsee. But I'll tell you what this confirms. This storm probably had a tornado in it at that time, or if not, at least winds to 80 miles per hour. The kind of damage that was just described to me is consistent with winds of a hurricane force. There was also a report of a downed tree, like thrown. Okay, so we are getting reports of the kind of stuff consistent with either tornado or very strong straight line wind damage. And here's why that's so important. If you're watching from the area I've zoomed in on around Bochita, and north of there, up into the less sparsely populated areas of northern Bryan County, like Bentley, and all the way up to Lane in southern Atoka County, this is where this dangerous storm is tracking. Now, it's doing so at 35 miles an hour. I haven't done a storm track in a while. Let me do that for you. But the bottom line is this storm is coming. You need to take cover. Here's the ETAs of this storm, and again, it may not last long enough to get to all these spots. We hope not. But coming right up through central and north central Bryan County, east of 75, it's indicated to be, and west of Bennington, somewhere in that notch right there, it's going to go right on through there. Here's Doppler 12. And again, you can see the enhanced banding, the higher velocities indicated by this brighter red. It looks like it has definitely shifted now over here to the north of Highway 70 somewhere. A little less defined than it was a few minutes ago. But we're still getting indications of some strong straight line winds. We lost the chat in this storm. I'll stand by a sec if you would. But cannot emphasize enough, especially now that we know there's confirmed damage. We know there's confirmed damage with this storm, that you stay in your place of safety and wait till it passes. I would like to mark some of the damage areas for you with an arrow. We know there was a tank fire out here at Hagerman. That wasn't as bad. Quite a bit of damage indicated around these areas on Highway 75 or near there. Reports of anything from, there was a mobile home office for the golf course destroyed. And I need to get the name of that, where that again was from our news director. You can just tell me in my ear if you want. But we also had reports of semi flipped over on the highway, reports of power lines down, power failures, trees blown down, all of this in... Okay, the old Calera Golf Center, right off the highway, the office complex was destroyed. Okay, now to get something like that, you're going to have to get winds of hurricane force, 74 miles an hour or greater. I would say likely caused by a tornado. I haven't been there. I haven't seen any pictures, so I'm not guaranteeing that. But honestly, folks, it really doesn't matter when the wind gets that strong. A non-tornadic wind of that strength can kill. It can destroy buildings, as I just told you. It did destroy one. And this is why it's so important, if you're in a mobile home especially, to evacuate that structure and go elsewhere. They just don't have the strength to withstand the winds. A lot of times, unless they're anchored really well by strapping, a lot of them are not done that way, it's just going to flip over. Even if it doesn't flip over, it could be crushed by a falling tree or flying debris, or rolled over like a giant metal square rolling over and getting beat up. So again, in this region of danger I'm showing you here, which looks to be along and just north of Highway 70, you need to be in a place of safety right now, okay? And you can ride it out with us as we tell you more about it. And there's the couplet, again, indicated to be clearly east of Highway 75, and moving it now north of Highway 70, somewhere up in this region right here would be the max danger with this. We would call this a tornadic storm because it has a history of producing tornadic rotation. Whether or not it's producing a tornado right now, we don't know that. Meteorologist Brian Briggs has been doing a great job of giving us social media updates, and I'm going to throw back to him for a sec while I regroup here. Brian, you standing by, buddy?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. All right. So just been checking with the viewers here. Let's see. Everybody's staying still. Southern Oklahoma seems to be the area of mess. I know you've been talking about some of the damage reports up there. A lot of folks concerned about the storms now coming in south of Texoma, generally near Dallas-Fort Worth. And the National Weather Service is keeping a close eye on that, considering downstream of this big storm right here that's coming into parts of Denton and Collin counties is moving into a very favorable environment. So this is going to be an issue for some of our far eastern counties in North Texas. Places like Bonham, Paris, you need to be just definitely paying attention to things. And especially as you head up into northern parts of Texoma here into southern Oklahoma, parts of Pushmataha, Atoka, Bryan, and Choctaw counties. So as you can see, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning downstream for this storm system, talking about damaging straight line winds primarily with this storm system. And it's not rotating as much, but we are certainly keeping an eye on it. It does have the potential still for a brief spin up as it moves out of Bryan County and into parts of Atoka County and Pushmataha County. So treat it as if it could be a dangerous storm at any point. You know what to do. Get in your tornado safe place. Put yourself as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Also, just keeping an eye on social media threads here because, again, our viewers have been fantastic feeding us information here as these storms continue to move through. And again, if you're concerned about the one in Grayson County, the one that's moving through right now, that is not severe. Does have heavy rain and lightning with it, but we're not keeping an eye on it right now. Don't let your guard down. Look at this big storm coming in out of Dallas-Fort Worth. This is another supercell thunderstorm that we're keeping a very close eye on. So again, folks, we're right in the heart of our severe weather threat. The good news is these storms right here are going to be our primary threat through the next several hours. These ones off towards Wichita Falls, Lawton, they're possibly going to be severe, yes, but they should pack much less of a tornado threat as the front comes in. So these are going to be the worst storms that we have to work through. And just keep an eye on through about 6 o'clock, all right? So we're going to show you the tornado watch here. That's still in effect through about 8 p.m. You can see we still have one active tornado warning across the eastern half of Bryan County into southern Atoka County, but that's probably going to translate to a severe thunderstorm warning as it continues to push into Atoka and Pushmataha counties. So, again, it's that big one coming out of Dallas. That could be a player for Bonham, Paris, Hugo, Durant, Antlers, Clayton, Atoka here in the next several hours. So, again, folks, we're maximizing our ingredients right now. We're starting to get the winds really cranking up. We're getting our daytime heating. Let me see if I can check in with those temperatures real quickly. You can see, oh my goodness, some areas in Texoma near 80 degrees. So there is a little bit more in the way of potentially stable air off towards the north and east. That could help to limit the tornado threat heading in the next couple hours, but still, be weather aware. We're just getting started. So we will continue to keep you updated on air and online. I know a lot of folks losing power in southern Oklahoma. So if you do lose power, we're streaming here on Facebook, and we are also streaming on our app as well. So we're going to keep you updated, but if Chief Meteorologist Steve Lenore is ready, I'm going to send it back to him.
Okay, Brian, thank you so much. Yes, we are watching this closely. Now, for folks that are in non-severe storm areas, I still want you to know we're watching for you as well. There's some very heavy rain in Grayson County right now. We're getting rainfall rates on some of these storms of well over an inch per hour, so torrential rain. Stay off the roads if you can. Just not a safe day to be driving, even if you're not in a tornado-warned area. Of course, our tornado-warned storm, notice this warning is shrinking as we get close to its expiration time. There have been no further indications of tornadoes in this. At one time there definitely was, and we think there might have been a tornado. I wanted to stress that we don't know for sure, but the amount of damage we're hearing about suggests that there could have been a tornado, or at the very least we know there were destructive